Let's do it!
Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, I hope you enjoyed the conversation and thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome! Feel free to make yourselves at home, and as always, there's beer and beer and beer and beer and maybe a soda in the fridge. Digital cheers, my friend. Digital cheers. Cheers me. Cheers me. Whoa. Yo. I'm sitting here today via the internet with my friend, compadre, fellow hat-wearing, beard-loving, beer-chugging son of a bitch, James Evans. Make some noise for the internet. James has been a quarantine buddy of mine. One of the very few people I've been regularly having video chats with, little afternoon beers, chatting about, guitar and life and metal and, just getting through it. How you hanging in there, man?
The first few weeks were fun. The last few have been rough. You sit there, you start reflecting on things that have gone wrong or right in your life. And then things get real, real weird. You cry a bunch, you laugh a bunch. Especially for me, because right now I'm totally alone. I spend most of my days talking to my dog if I'm not talking to you or a couple other people on FaceTime. So it's definitely different. And before this all happened, I'm like, oh, I need a vacation. But at least I had the option of going somewhere to see somebody. I don't have that right now. So it's weird.
Sure. And what have you been doing in that time alone?
Been working on a band, writing riffs for said band, drinking a lot of beer, because why the hell not? We're at home all the time, and watching The Walking Dead, crying a lot at it. I'm like, why is everyone so good? And then just chilling with my dog, taking her for walks, trying not to get anyone sick, trying not to get sick. So
yeah, I had a thought. I was thinking about, everyone being in the house and obviously drinking or not drinking. In terms of beer, because for people that don't know you're a brewer, you do beer. That's kind of your thing when you're not riffing.
Yep.
So you're a beer guy. You're in the beer industry.
I am.
Do you think that this pandemic is going to have any effect on the current trend of what beer has been popular?
I don't know if it's going to have any trend on what's been popular, but from what I'm gathering, case sales have been up like crazy. And I think after this is said and done, there'll be a group of people that want to go out, like myself, but I think a lot of people are going to stay at home and continue to buy cases. I think this is going to have a lot of people weirded out. And I mean, I guess rightfully so. But I think we should try to get back to normal and, cheers a beer, have a high five, and just enjoy whatever you enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I have fallen back in love with the idea of being at home. Most of the money that I make goes into having this roof over my head and these things in the house. So it's nice to actually spend time here. So I do probably see myself maybe even once things get back to normal being like go down to Roundabout, go down to Penn or somewhere, get a 6-pack, go home and do the thing there instead of just hanging out at the bar. It might not be as appealing as it used to be to me.
Now for myself personally, as soon as this is over, I'm going to run down to my favorite bar, which is Ruggers in Southside. I'm going to high five, and I'm going to just give the bartender my phone with the Lyft address already typed in. When I'm ready, I'll give her the sign. I'll let her know what the sign is.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get wasted.
Well, I will say there's definitely a different scenario because, like, obviously Ruggers is a place that you have a social tie to. It's not just a place where you go and drink and you don't talk to anybody. Like, you know the people there, so it's going to be more of a thing. I mean, I'll probably come down with you. I'll come down, high five, and the bartender might have to hold 2 phones.
Dude, I can't wait to hug you. That's the thing. Hug, just like a warm embrace from another human.
I'm saving up all the heat that I possibly can for you.
So it's gonna bring a whole new meaning to start the heat. Whole new meaning. Ooh, sound effects. I get the sound effects tonight. I'm winning.
You get the whole thing. So you don't see any like trends happening with beer, like maybe because people aren't able to access their hazies, even though they can.
I think that everyone's just gonna keep on keeping on.
Yeah. It doesn't feel
right
like
now.
it doesn't feel like much has really changed. At least around here, it's not like in Pittsburgh, we've been fortunate where we haven't gotten hit as hard as other places. And I feel that like most of the breweries and stuff around here that people go to a lot, they're still shipping us a ton of cases and you can go down and pick up cans to go and things like that. So I think for the most part, a lot in terms of the beer consumption hasn't changed too much around here.
Yeah, because I've been keeping in some constant contact with the head brewer at Penn, and I ask him how everything's doing. He just says case sales are way up, which I mean obviously makes sense because people want to drink. They want to do things to keep their mind off of what this is, and I think that's important. I think it's important to keep your mind off of it. You know, stay focused, stay ahead of it, do what you can do to, you know, combat what's happening. And I mean, beer is a really good reason to stay in the house. I mean, it is. I mean, I take my dog for a walk every single day just to give her some exercise, and I will continue to do so at personal risk and whatever. But I think beer is just it's always been that avenue for people to just kind of forget about the ugly in the world, whether it before this, after this, long after this is done. I think that's the beauty behind beer. Beer is an avenue, even if you don't get drunk off of it, it's just an avenue to forget about the world's problems for the amount of time in which you need to forget about it, whether that be 1, 2 beers, 6, 12 beers, whatever it is. You get to forget that the problems exist. You get to have that period of time in which you just get to have fun if you use it correctly. Now, obviously, there's people out there that don't use it correctly, and that sucks. And that's a terrible thing. And those avenues to fix that will always be in place. But this is the first time in a very long time that I felt like myself. Very fun person.
Yeah. You're
so.
A hoot.
I mean, I got drunk the other night and just shaved my head and beard off. I did my best like cosplay. I mean, look at this. We can be the same person.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of creepy. I thought you were growing your hair out, man.
So just being drunk and bored, I was like, you know what? with the whole new band thing coming on, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I had, you know, this mangy little mop going. I was like, I'll shave it off, shave the beard off. And then we won't shave it until this project plays its first show. No beard trimming, no hair trimming. It is what it is.
Okay. All right.
So
I see what's happening now. So with the beer that we've been consuming while we've been home, is there anything that you've had over the past few weeks that maybe you hadn't had before? Any sort of styles or things that you really knocked your socks off?
No, nothing. Honestly, nothing really rocks my socks off anymore. But I will say this: just today, a friend of mine who, right before we started this podcast, challenged me to a drink off, which I haven't lost one, not even once. I was drinking a New Belgium, one sec,
Okay. As we're
Mountain Time Premium Lager. Tastes very similar to a Miller High Life. I wasn't mad at it at all. So
New Belgium makes good beer.
they do. Dude, I'm not one of those people that ever falls into, oh, this big brewery bought this brewery, or they teamed up with somebody else. I can't drink it anymore. Fuck off. I'll drink it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I find that that's a really, I mean, I guess maybe if I owned uh an independent brewery or something, maybe I could see it. But I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm not gonna buy like a 6-pack of Wicked Weed from Market
No.
District, which you could do now. They have Wicked Weed at Market District.
Oh, I know, but it's such
But-
a terrible thing. Whereas we would have to take 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour drives to get this said product, but we can't drink it anymore because somebody came in with money
Oh yeah.
and let them make that product that you love more consistently. But we have to hate that.
Well,
Dude,
what I was gonna
that
say,
fucking
I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I can't buy this while I'm standing there wearing like a pair of Levi's and like Adidas shoes
Yeah.
and like, you know, a hoodie from Target. Like, it's not like
dude. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And like, and to anyone listening to this, if that's what you want to do it. If it makes you happy, feel like a better person, do it. For me, I don't give a shit. I care about the contents of the bottle and the fact that they bought them, whatever, dude. That product is just going to be more consistent from bottle to bottle from year to year. And if you want to argue me on that, whatever, do it. I don't give a shit. I don't. It's just craft beer is such a weird thing that people, it's like underground music. Craft beer is underground music.
I was going to say,
you love it until it outgrows that back pocket pamphlet or whatever that thing is nowadays you have. As soon as it outgrows it, it's not cool anymore. I'm drinking New Belgium. I'm still drinking these breweries that have outgrown themselves to a lot of those, you know, diehards. And I don't care. If the product's good, I'm going to drink it.
Yeah. I think one of the key things about beer is like, you know, whatever is convenient and tastes good to you. If it's around, drink it. It's just a drink. I think there's a lot of people that get caught up in this whole hype thing where it's like, yeah, you know, maybe 5 years ago would have drove 10 hours just to go to like Wicked Weed or to go to some other brewery, you know, and like, it's just beer.
It is just beer.
And now a lot of people know about it. And it's like, you know, it's easy to have that same sort of feeling like whenever like they all of a sudden started playing Korn on TRL back in the day when it was like, no, Korn is my band. I don't want the popular kids to know who Korn is. It's like, fuck it. They're a good band. People were going to listen to them. And if Wicked Weed was a good enough brewery to get bought out by fucking Anheuser-Busch, then they're going to get bought out.
And there's a lot of people out there that were like, you know, I would never do it. If someone came to your door offering you life, just life in money form, you're probably going to take it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, to ensure that your family has the future that you want to have, I mean, that can't be a terrible thing. You don't have to like it, but it's just me. And maybe I'm not the most.
I mean, yeah, it's different for everybody. I mean, you got breweries like Oscar Blues and Dogfish Head that are like fiercely independent, right? They're all still super independent.
Well, I know that Dogfish did the whole Sam Adams deal. I know Victory and Southern Tier teamed up, and I think that's way cooler. I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah, but they're still they're still not like, that's still like pretty DIY, because even Sam Adams is still technically family owned, right?
I wanted to point out the Paramore records you have on that shelf back there, and I love them.
Yeah, they're great. They're one of my favorite bands, dude. Hell yeah.
As they should be. as they should be.
Fantastic songwriters. It's so fucking psychotic to me. I mean, that album's really good, but also they put out that album and they were like, what, in their late teens, maybe early 20s, probably not even. Like, Hayley Williams is probably a couple years younger than me. And that album came out in 2000 and when did this come out? 2009? 8?
I might be even sooner than that. 08? Is it 08?
Of course the fucking year's not on the back of this. Google. But yeah, I was just I've been like listening to a lot of records since I've been home. So I was jamming some Paramore a little
I was
bit ago.
listening to Paramore literally an hour before we started this podcast. Hayley Williams might actually be my rock and roll crush. Not
wow, June 12th, 2007. That album came out.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. I guess Brand New Eyes came out in 2009 then. But yeah, that's insane. That is so insane. This album's 13 years old.
Wow. Damn.
All
the hits.
I just recorded a headphone hideaway on Cradle of Filth's Midian.
What? Yes.
And this album on Halloween is going to turn 20.
God, we're old.
Yeah, dude.
We're fucking old. Oh my God.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? Midian's 20 years old. Are you serious? Like, I still remember fucking going to the store and buying it when I was like a fucking little shit, dude. It's nuts.
We are old.
We're not that old. We just grew up around a lot of cool stuff.
We did. We really did. Oh man, that record's really 20?
Yeah, it came out on Halloween or Devil's Night, technically, October 30th, 2000. October 30th, year 2000. I looked it up earlier because, like I said, I did a video on it.
Dude, oh my God.
Yeah. So this Devil's Night, I might have to have a Cradle of Filth party. If we can, if we can hang out together, that would be fun. You have to come dressed as a member of Cradle of Filth.
I will come dressed as Danny Filth.
Everybody can dress up as Danny Filth, but it has to be different eras of Danny Filth. I'll obviously be like current day, kind of like bloated, over the hill Danny Filth. But the thing that's fucking killer though is that they still put out really good fucking music.
I mean, they've been doing it so long.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when you're a band that does it so long and you make a misstep, everyone wants to crucify you for it. But it's like, you can't. I mean, there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but you just can't do it over that many years and not have a sidestep or a trip in the road.
And a lot of the time, yeah, and a lot of the time too, depending on the band, like you might be in a situation where the sidestep isn't even necessarily your fault. Like you take like that Darkest Hour self-titled record that was on Sumerian.
Yeah.
And I know, like, you know, it's a bit of a sidestep for them, but you know, they don't play any of that stuff anymore. The album didn't do super good. I think it was just a thing where like label management and people kind of talked them into trying something different and it didn't work. Same thing with maybe that Suicide Silence album that was super weird that they got a lot of flack for. Which I think was, I think that was also a self-titled. What is it about bands putting out self-titled records in the middle of their discography trying to reinvent their sound and it's just dog shit?
Because from what I just read, my favorite band's newest record is self-titled and they've never put out a bad record, so I don't want to believe that that's a curse.
Who, Every Time I Die?
Yeah.
Okay. They're doing the self-titled thing too?
Yeah, after all these years.
It's not happens to every band. The Deftones self-titled album's a great record.
And Lamb of God's gonna do one as well.
Should I do that?
For Grey Walker and Sykes?
Yeah.
Both of them are self-titled records.
No, I think eventually I'm just going to do one super project album that's both projects together.
Really?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You want to do that?
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm going to. I gotta record. I gotta finish up stuff we're working on already. But yeah, who the fuck cares? The new
Are
Sights and
you?
the New Violence stuff is heavy enough for Grey Walker to play it anyways.
The other night when I was on that stream that the new song is fucking dope, dude. That shit is good.
Thank you.
Catch the shit. Like I like how you and Mandy like play with like the vocals. Like you'll say something, she comes in afterwards. Like I was really enjoying that. It's dynamic.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
We've been working really hard on it, so it seems like people are digging it. People are understanding what we're trying to do. So I'm super stoked.
So my question is, you said you were working really hard on it, but like there was a pause. So were you working really hard on it, or were you working really hard on it?
We're working. I actually, you know what? I know. I just feel like we've been very consistent in working on the songs for a long time. So it's not necessarily hard work. It's just being patient and actually giving the songs time to develop and become what they are now. Because like, honestly, like everything that's on this new album that we're recording, a lot of it was written like pretty much. There was a version of like, how can I put it? All of this stuff was written and done probably by the end of last summer.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, okay, these are the songs. Now let's go back through and re-demo everything. And then let's start playing it live. And then let's re-demo it. Like, just like, so we've like really been like cycling through instead of like writing it, recording it, like, okay, there it is. It's like everything's like really had this like crazy lifespan of just like we keep on going back through and trying to make sure every little part is as cool as it can be. So
yeah,
it seems like really wild to think like, oh, you know, we've spent like an extra 6 months just writing, but it's not like 6 months consistent. You know, it's like we get 1 day a week to maybe get together for a couple hours. So it's just like when you're working on such a small time frame because of everybody's availability, it just ends up taking longer in the grand scheme of things.
I'm glad you brought that up because like the way I feel about writing a song, like I really think it's awesome that we have these tools where whether it be me, you, whoever out there, we can come up with an idea and send it to other people. But there is really a lost art of getting in a room with the group of people that you want to be in a band with and just hammering it out.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, everything really changed because with the way that we write psych songs is it's in this room. I mean, the guys come over, we write stuff, we record it into my computer, and then, you know, we structure the songs that way. But
yeah,
things really changed once we actually took the stuff to the practice space and started actually playing it.
Yeah.
And then also our buddy Jordan, who plays drums in Back Alley Sound, he's going to be playing live drums with us for shows.
Oh, Jordan?
Yeah.
Jordan Bosley?
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. He's awesome.
He's such a good drummer. So, and honestly, like working with him and like hearing like his ideas getting mixed into stuff, like some of the like rhythm stuff that he did while there are no live drums on the record, like I went back and changed like the program and sample drums to kind of match some of the rhythms that Jordan changed on some of the songs. Like in Bad Seed, like if you listen to that song, like the original version of it, and then the post like Jordan idea version, there's a lot of little nuance that like Jordan's brought to the table that I ended up going back and changing on the mix. It like helped a lot with the rhythm. It's super cool.
Yeah, I just, for me personally, like I'm starting like with this project that I'm starting, like I'm adapting to the whole, you know, you record a riff, you program some drums, you send it to everybody and everyone's cool with it. But they're really just that natural element can't be replaced. There is something about it that is so pure and focused. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that there's just people. There's people there, and they're going to fight and claw and scratch and claw their that way to their belief in their feeling. And I think that's huge. And we live in the time where you don't even have to be that good on your instrument. You can just record something and monkey around and create something great. So I really do respect that whole idea of just the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many people are in your band, that whole idea of getting into a room and hammering out the idea.
Yeah.
Because some of the best things I've ever done in the bands that I've been in have been done. Like I've come in with like 1 or 2 ideas, but I've been stuck. And then I play them. And because I have that live drummer, maybe he plays something. He just does something. And I'm like, oh, I can go there. And I go with it.
Yeah, I think the power of collaboration is something that makes music really, really great. I mean, even for so many solo artists that exist, their songs wouldn't be what they are without the people that collaborate with them. Like somebody like Beyonce gets a ton of credit, rightfully so, because, she's an important person in the social world and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to her music, it's like, there's a dozen people that are behind her helping her craft all that stuff together. And without those people, Beyonce would not be the Beyonce that Beyonce is, probably.
Yeah.
At least musically.
I don't think so. I really don't. And
that's
people, I think.
What? I was gonna say, and that's the same thing with like I was just recently talking about that Lana Del Rey album, Ultraviolence, which is a really cool record. And
I was watching that.
That's all the dude from the Black Keys that produced it. Like he really, really helped bring the ideas of those songs to life in a way that really brought that album, it gave it what it needed. So, without that little teamwork, so it's always really, really crucial to find the right people, even if they aren't necessarily people in the band. It could be a producer, it could be a manager, or just some sort of a tastemaker behind the scenes saying like, hey, I think you should do this. Anytime somebody has an idea, I think it's worth at least listening to them, because those people have ears and thoughts about things just the same as you have. And if they're hearing something in your music that you're not, it could be a great idea. It could be a shit idea, but it's worth to listen to them.
So I see, for me, there's no such thing as a bad idea when it comes to the creative mind. There's only avenues that you decide to not take. And I think that's the dangerous part of it. I think that if you've allowed someone into your creative process and you're not willing to listen, and I mean that as an artist, you have to be able to do that. Like, to sit there and write a riff, I'd be like, oh, this is great. To present it to somebody takes an amount of courage. And if you're not willing to listen to that, even if it doesn't work, you should be trying your damnedest to make it better at every turn.
Yeah.
And I think that in a lot of ways, people's egos and people's like, oh, I wrote this, I love it, it gets in the way. And with me, like, especially within the last few years of things that have happened in my life, it's taken a lot. It's definitely taken a lot to strip it back and be like, no, there's always a way to do something better, or maybe you have figured out the best way to do it. But just listen to everything. If you're allowing it into your world, listen to it.
I agree. And no, it makes all the sense. I think that ego, I agree, definitely gets in the way a lot of the times with bands that are having a hard time remaining productive or getting on the same page. And I think that just a lot of people forget, if I ask you to join my band, it's because I think you're a good guitar player and I respect your ideas and I think you're going to bring something to the table. So
Yeah.
why, whenever you have an idea, would I shut it down? It's like, no, it's like if you're working with people whose ideas you respect, if they have something that goes against what you think is a good idea, you need to at least listen to them. If you're not willing to listen to them because you don't have faith in their ideas, why are you playing in a band with them?
Yeah. Yeah. I think when it comes to that dynamic, a lot of people feel threatened. And I was in a band where I wrote a lot of stuff, and every once in a while, shit would happen where I would feel threatened. And it came from a place where, so when I started playing guitar, period, didn't know what the fuck I was doing at all, had no idea. And the dude that was teaching me, Mike, was like, "You're gonna get good at guitar because I want you to be in my band because I love you." And his way of teaching me was, if I didn't get something right, he would punch me in the head. Not the best way of doing anything, but I didn't like getting punched in the head. So guess what I did? I learned how to play guitar fast. And in doing so, it ingrained this whole idea in my head that nothing can suck, because if it sucks, something bad happens. So from there it went, I wrote a lot. I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and going and going and going and going and going, to the point where the band that I was in before I moved to Pittsburgh just had a mountain of riffs, and we just had riff after riff after riff to go from. And he at some point wanted to start contributing, and I had my own ego about me, in which I was like, no, it's not mine. I don't want to do it.
Mm.
And in time, learns that is a very dangerous road to go down, because you ignore the things in your life that are great. And it sounds so stupid because people are like, oh, you just ignore some guitar riffs. Like, no, you're not acknowledging the time, the sacrifice, the creativity of another person, and that's huge to me. Like, that is huge. Like, if I don't listen to all types of music, and I never will claim to be that person, but if you take the time, whether it's a country guitar player trying to be Clint Black or Randy Travis, and they want to climb on a stage, you have my respect, and that's huge to me. Because it takes a lot of guts to put yourself on the line, period, let alone in that public avenue. It takes a lot of guts. So I don't have to like it at all. But if you're willing to put yourself out there for people to judge you, you will endlessly have my respect. Because it's so difficult to be passionate, especially in today's age, because there are so many people that aren't passionate. They go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and they don't blink an eye. But if you're passionate and you care, it's the lost art. Being passionate is a lost fucking art to me. So if you do that and you care enough about it to give it to me, I don't have to like it, but I will respect you. I'll shake your hand. I'll be at your show. I'll stand there. I'll buy a beer. I'll give that venue, wherever you're at, the love and respect that you deserve, because it's scary. And a lot of people are afraid to take that leap. Like, when this quarantine's over, not only am I going to start this band, I'm going to go try my hand at stand up, because I want people to laugh at my experiences. Life's a weird thing, and like that's the weird thing quarantine's taught me. Life's a weird thing, and we all deserve a pat on the back if you're doing your part to be quarantined, to be creative, to whatever it is you're doing. You're doing it right. Round of applause to you.
Hell yeah, man.
Maybe that's a drunken, dumb fuck rant. I don't know, but
No, dude, I agree. I think that it says a lot about somebody, I think, whenever somebody can't recognize that. And you had mentioned that whole idea of like, oh, it's just guitar riffs. You shouldn't get bent out of shape over it. And it's like, no, it says a lot about your character overall. If you can't take the time to appreciate the tiniest thing that somebody else did, how are you going to
Yeah,
appreciate the things that really matter that other people do? I think
it's still willing. No, keep going. Keep going.
I was just gonna say that I think that it's like super duper important to practice empathy and show support for others, especially people that you decide to let into your creative bubble. You know what I mean? If you're making that choice to play in a
Yeah,
band with somebody else, make sure that their ideas are respected and encouraged, even if it's not 100% what you want that time.
right.
They might
Yeah.
bring the sickest fucking riff in the world next week. But if you shoot them
Mhm.
down this week and you're a fucking dick, they're not going to bring that riff. And then they might leave the band and start another band and have that sick riff on that band. Like
Yeah,
let
I can.
let people know that you give a fuck about what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think, especially in today's age, we've forgotten how to do that.
I think
Like everyone, myself included, have had moments of being completely self-absorbed and in my own head to the point where I can't see past it. But I found a way to do it,
it's
and it's not easy, and it takes a lot of. The only way to be your best self is to see your ugliest self. And if you can do that, you'll achieve so much more. And it sounds so dumb. I know it sounds dumb. And people are going to watch it like he's an idiot. He's just a drunk asshole. But if the past 2 years of my life have taught me anything, is no matter what happens, I'm going to be fine. I have a good mind. I have a good soul. And I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to find a way to create the avenues that I wish to seek or search out. Like I'm going to find a way to make that happen. And I think a lot of people are so caught up with, a lot of people get on social media and they get mad about things that they see. That shit doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's trivial shit.
half of it's not even
Um,
true.
Half of it's not true. We're getting fed a a vast majority of the shit that you see on social media, we're getting fed because that's the way they got bought and sold. But like people get mad at that shit and act as if though it matters. Like no, the only thing that matters is the shit that you see around you. And I can't express to you how annoyed I get when I see something bad that happens in this city. Like an ignorant piece of shit goes out there and says something dumb or does something dumb or wears something dumb. And you see these assholes go, oh, I'm ashamed to be from here. Why are you ashamed to be from some place that has 99.9% of the population that is good? And yet you put on social media, I'm ashamed to be here. That person that does something stupid exists in every town, in every state, period. Doesn't change. You don't have to be ashamed of the place. Be ashamed of the person. And you have the choice to not associate with that person. But yet, they put their shit and their thoughts and their fucking mental verbal diarrhea on the fucking interwebs to get clicks, to get likes, to feel as if though they matter. I don't matter. I'm finding a way to matter. And that's great. Don't do things to appease another person because it's going to get you Facebook or Instagram likes. Be you, be honest, be real. I have no time for people who decide that they just need that embrace from their community. If you don't want to embrace me, don't embrace me. I don't give a fuck. I'm a good person. I will give the shirt off of my back to you if you need it. I will do whatever you need if you need it. Just be honest, be real, be passionate. I know it's weird, and maybe this podcast never makes it to air. I don't know, but I've had a great time talking.
No, I'm
But
definitely.
Dude, I see it all the time. People are just like, I'm ashamed. I'm like, don't be ashamed. Stop being ashamed. Do something. Do something. When you see that, stand up, say something, do something. But they don't. They just want that social media gratification. And I don't care about that. I just want more everyone that's passionate and gives a fuck about what's inside them to just come together and not be worried about the whole I'm here, no, we're all together because we're all doing the same thing. We're trying to bring people together. We're trying to bring people as one. We're trying to bring people to some sort of place where they can just be happy. Because there's not enough happiness in this world anymore. Sorry, rant over. I apologize. If this podcast never makes it to air, I won't blame you.
No, I'm definitely releasing it. This is actually a lot better than you may realize, my friend.
Dude, you sit there and you're in a moment. You think you lost everything. And then something comes along where you think you have everything. And you're reminded that the only thing that you have is the impact that you can leave on those that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. And I really think that's the point of art. Some people look at what other people do as a joke, and that's their prerogative. But it's going to mean something to someone somewhere down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's, for the longest time, I've stopped focusing so much on like, at least when it comes to art. Not so much the art that somebody creates or the music that a band makes, but why are they making it? And how does this group of people interact with the world around them? Like, I would much rather hang out with a bad band full of good people than a good band full of bad people.
I agree completely.
It's just like a band that I don't like playing songs that I don't care for, but playing them well and having a good time on stage is phenomenally more entertaining than watching a band play good songs, but they don't seem like they even fucking want to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to all of this shit that we're going through now, in the way some people are continuing to act on the internet and the things that they're posting, I mean, it just says a lot about their character. It's like, yo, if you can't fucking figure this out, you're not going to ever figure anything out in terms of just like how to deal with like real fucking problems. It's going to really, really reflect on just what kind of a person they are and like what matters most to them. Like, you see a lot of people that are spending their time home away from work, putting time into creative things or taking time to find alternative sources of income to support themselves or their family or their pets and things like that, like doing like productive things, staying, on a good path. And then there's also people that are just like taking this time to do nothing productive at all, except, complain and spread fear on the internet. And it's just like, it's really, really scary. It's just like, fuck. Like, it's almost like there are some people that I feel are excited that they have something to like complain about, and they're excited that they have something to get other people worked up about, because it's fuel for that need to be this force of like attention, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I mean, I can't control what other people do. I can just control my interaction with them. You know, it's like you can't control other people, but you can control the environment around you. And if the environment around you has shitty people in it, then you need to change that environment. Get the people away from you.
Oh no, I completely agree. And but for some odd reason, those are the people that people pay the most attention to.
Most rational people, sane people, they keep to themselves. They're not being super loud on the internet or doing anything crazy controversial. So of course you don't hear about them because they're focused on their own shit. You know, they're focused on working from home. They're focused on working from family, making sure the kids don't get sick. Just normal, simple stuff. So you don't hear from them because there's nothing to talk about. But of course, if somebody is fucking online, like being a dick or just being really dramatic about something, of course, you know, it's like that fear and ignorance and negativity just like breeds more. It's like a magnet, you know? So that's why you hear about it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I just wish people could, I don't know. It just sounds so stupid because we're just two dudes talking about things, but I just wish people weren't so blind to stuff. And like, it's okay to question. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's okay to question what's happening. It's okay to question, are we being fed the truth? Because like as we talked about, like some of the shit we see on Facebook is being filtered. The shit that we see on a lot of these avenues that we all partake in is being filtered, and people don't want to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not nearly intelligent enough to get into any sort of like a conspiracy theory rhetoric about what's going on.
No. Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm dumb as shit. I am dumber than a bag of cat shit, dude.
But like, dude, I don't know. Like, it's like that stuff is so above my pay scale in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I have no idea. I cannot control the environment outside of me right now. You know, I cannot control what is going on because obviously there is definitely a virus or something going on. But, you know, one side of news people were saying one thing and other people were saying other things. I'm still keeping my ear to the ground just because I want to know what people are talking about. It's like, I can't even say I want to know what's going on because it's not a clear source to know what's going on. I just know what people are talking about. No. That's like all the news is. It's no longer the facts. It's just what people are talking about. So I try to stay up with that. But other than that, it's just like, well, okay, how am I gonna pay for the bills that are coming in? How am I going to, once things get back to normal, how am I going to acclimate to that? What are the bands going to do? How am I going to continue to be productive with recording? Is there anything different I could do? Like, how am I going to continue to do the podcast? I mean, obviously I've decided to do this for the time being, which is working out. And, but it's just like those things. It's like, I'm just worried about myself. I'm not worried about what else is going on because I have no fucking control of how quick doctors and nurses and governments and whatever find the vaccines or let us get back to work and things. I have no I don't know. It could go on forever. Yeah. So I just need to act as if like what I'm doing today is going to be my permanent and how to make it the best and move forward. And if things get better, cool. But like, it sounds kind of dark to like live your life as if every day is rock bottom. I'm not quite saying that, but like, imagine that, like it's going to be like this for a while instead of saying like, oh, every day, tomorrow it's going to be different. expecting, every day when you wake up tomorrow for all this to go away is fucking insane. And it's also just as insane to go to sleep and expect every day to wake up thinking that it's going to be worse, because then you're just going to drive yourself fucking crazy. It's just like, focus on this. I have friends that are talking to me about stuff like, did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm just like, where the fuck did you read that? Who said that? Who saw that? It's just like, it's like people just see stuff and assume that it's 100% truth. And that is not the best way to go about things in a time when all of these news companies that are giving you news, the only way they're able to stay afloat now because of the way the internet works is if people are going on their website. And if they post stuff like things are okay, you're not going to go on the website. But if they post stuff like everything is terrible, they're going to click on the website. It's like, I think this might be like the most controversial thing that I'll say right now. But I would say a large majority, not all, but a very large majority of the people that I see online that have a very difficult time maybe understanding more than one side to a story, or, seeing more than one side of a coin, are people that have like very limited life experience. They're younger people, or they're people that don't have families or like any sort of an actual like stable job, or like any like major responsibilities, are these things that you encounter throughout life that end up forcing you to see things from multiple angles. Like if you have this life with like super low responsibility to the other people around you and to yourself and to your environment, of course it's really easy to like live on this really narrow track and like narrow-minded form of thinking. But once you get into, I hate saying the real world, but like, you get into a position where it's like, oh, now I'm a homeowner, or now I have, a ton of bills, or now I have a kid, or now I have school loans to pay off. And there's like all of these like extra responsibilities, and you start needing to do things outside of your comfort zone to make things work. Then you start to really realize like how unimportant some of the trivial shit really is. And then you start to focus more on that bubble and just like yourself and the immediate people around you, instead of constantly worrying about what everybody else, people that you'll never fucking meet in your life or interact with, what they're doing. As if like what some fucking like, it's like, I hate to say this, but it's like as if like some like crazy far right Republican dude that lives in the middle of Nevada or in the middle of fucking Montana, as if what they do with their life has any impact on me or anyone else that like lives here in Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I'm probably gonna fucking die here. I like it here. I don't plan on leaving. I have my things. I have my job that I really love. I have people in my life that I love. I have a house that I love. I've bands. Like I'm here. Things are good. I've worked hard to get to this point in my life where I have things that I care about, and I'm going to work to keep those afloat as long as I can. And I'm just going to focus on those things. So if some fucking dickhead in Montana posts some weird fucking thing on the internet, I'm not going to fucking take any time out of my day, time away from the people that I love, my friends, my band, things that I care about, to try to like fight some fucking stranger on the internet about their stupid viewpoints about something. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, it has no fucking effect on me. Even if I like incredibly disagree with what this person is saying, it's just an idiot on the internet.
We live in a time where we want to get our minds off of whatever it is that surrounds our lives. And I think to a certain degree that's innocent, but to a certain degree that's dangerous.
Sure. I think that, everybody has fucking bullshit that they have to deal with, regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
Everybody has fucking bullshit to deal with. And, we find our ways to deal with that on a personal level, whether that may be, me deciding to, re-binge watch Gilmore Girls, or you having some beers. Like, you know, we all do our things, but like, it's just like, you know, like you don't have to surround yourself with the things that you hate. And that's the other thing that like really surprises me too. It's like, I get there's a shit ton of injustice in the world and a lot of things that definitely need to be talked about. And there's a place and a time to talk about those things. But there are people that undoubtedly just go out of their way to make sure that they're constantly surrounded by things that they hate. And it's not doing them any favors. They end up just like eroding the world around them because they become a miserable person. Most normal people don't give a fuck about what's making you mad on the internet. They're worried about their own shit. And if they're taking time away from their life to bring you into their life, the last thing that most people want to hear is what you're fucking mad about, especially if it has something to do with like something internet related. I mean, if it's something personal, like fuck, I'm dealing with this thing at work, or fuck, you know, my girlfriend did this, or my fucking husband did that, or, you know, like sure, personal shit. Like, let's connect on that. But it's just like, oh, I'm fucking livid because I saw some fucking, again, that dickhead in Montana posted something and we've been fighting back and forth on Twitter for weeks. Bro, do you have nothing else to do right now?
Dude, most people look for an excuse to run from whatever it is. Whatever problem that mounts, people look for the excuse to run. It takes a whole new level of person to find the reason to stay.
Sure.
And fight.
Sure.
And cheers.
Cheers, man.
When this is all done, we should talk about doing a podcast, me and you.
We could do it. What do you want to do a podcast about?
Whatever we want to talk about.
Okay.
Because every fucking time we do this, we just talk and talk and talk back and forth. We could literally talk about whatever we want, and it's going to be
Here's a question. Have you used any of your quarantine time to finally realize that Baby Metal's a good band?
No. I won't do that. You know why I won't do that? Because a band by the name of Poppy exists. And they're... Hold on. Dog shit.
Yeah, I don't really care much for Poppy's music. Baby Metal's phenomenally better. Musically and everything, they're much better.
No, they're the same thing.
Not at all.
At face value, no, but deep down, the same thing. And I hate them both.
That's fair. I would say Poppy is metal music, and to a degree, it's metal music fueled by the gimmick. Baby Metal is metal music just using a gimmick to fuel it.
Okay, so
like I think that at the core of Baby Metal, you have really good songwriters that understand how to write metal and give a fuck about metal. Hell yeah. At the core of Poppy, I think you have people that give a fuck about a gimmick and know how to market a gimmick.
So you're not wrong. I don't like either of them.
That's fine. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's gonna try. I was just trying to lighten everything before we wrap up.
If you will, all right. So I'm like, I have to pee really, really, really bad.
Okay, that's fine, dude. Let's wrap it up. Like I said, I gotta start getting dinner ready and shit. But, dude, I'm sure I'll talk to you in Never. I'm sure I'll talk to you probably tomorrow, most likely.
I'll probably bug you.
As you gotta pee, I'm gonna make you sit through this outro. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for listening. One more time, James Evans has left the building. He ain't holding that pee. I'll see you, dude. It's good talking with you. I'll be back again in a couple days. same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat 2020. Woo woo! Thanks for listening. Peace out. See you later.